Good evening. I am Keisha Cooper King, and oh, am I happy to be here tonight. I am with Education Through Music LA's 17th Annual Gala. Tonight we're in person, which is really special. Really great to be back in person with all these wonderful musicians and teachers and people who are passionate about music.
I'm honestly really excited to be here. I feel like it's less about me and more about ETM-LA, but I'm genuinely proud and honored to be part of it. I wouldn't be who I am, and I don't think I would be here tonight if I didn't have all those experiences with music and as part of my education growing up.
Well, I think it's really important that all kids have access to being able to study music and just be around music in an educational setting. And for me, that's been really important just in my life as a musician. All throughout middle school and high school, I had music classes, and then I went on to go to a music university. So music and education has just been important to me, and it's just amazing that we're trying to provide that to everyone.
The way you can make such an unbelievable impact just through education, especially through music, and I think all of us composers can think back to a particular teacher or a particular moment as a kid where someone made that turning point moment which switched on all the lights. So I certainly had that experience, and there are such amazing music teachers in Los Angeles, and this charity, Education Through Music LA, they are so they do things in such a proactive and detailed way, giving kids such unbelievable opportunities. So the fact that we can be a small part of that means a lot, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Music itself is so needed for the young people in school today, so thank you guys for what you do.
How amazing is this for you?
I am overwhelmed with gratitude. It's just nice to be acknowledged for the work that I'm so passionate about. So it's an honor to receive the award this year. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for him. He was my shining star when I was going through high school and music, and he's the reason why I'm here tonight too.
I have to say, I've always loved the saxophone. What does that saxophone mean to you?
Well, that saxophone was the instrument that I started playing back in 1960-something, and I was very lucky to have a very good music teacher who mentored me as a musician and as a young man and as a teacher. And so it's my pleasure and my honor to be able to pass that on to Juan and many others.
Without music and the arts, I don't know where I'd be. I'm from South Florida, and I grew up in art schools and arts programs all throughout my life there. And I was pushed really hard, and I'm very fortunate for that, and I'm glad to been in Los Angeles for 10 years now, a composer and drummer, and lucky to work with really great people, and just glad to be here supporting.
The most important teacher for me in my life was my cello teacher. And so I think that connection that a student can have with a really profound music teacher can change the course of one's life, and that's certainly the case for me. A good teacher, like my teacher Maxine Newman in New York, brings life into the lesson, and then I bring the lesson out into life, and it is about music, but if they're great teachers, as we know, it's about so much more than just what the subject is.
Most of my life has been in music. I started playing instruments in second grade and played all through college. And
what were you playing in second grade?
In second grade, I started playing mandolin. Really random, yeah, and a little bit of keyboard, but I played saxophone for 15 years or something, so saxophone was my main instrument usually. And then I studied composition in school, and now I represent film and TV composers, and I started my own agency. Education Through Music LA is really important because it's bringing live music, teaching children the skills of discipline, collaboration. It leads to better math, better reading, and also it's engaging artists who are doing the teaching as well. And overall, it's brightening our community because we need music in houses and schools and communities.
I came from a very small town and went to public school with an amazing music teacher who, would stay in at lunchtime to help me with my college applications and auditions. And, it was everything because that's, my guidance counselor didn't even think it was a real job to be a composer. They're like, no, that's not a real job. And, and my music teacher made it, was like, no, that's not true. You can do this. And, to have that kind of support, and for an organization like ETM to be able to give that opportunity and that much support to every kid, in all these schools is just amazing.
I danced my whole life. And so for me, it was very much in the dance world. And it just sort of gave me another opportunity or a different opportunity to express myself and to feel a little bit more like myself. And now we have 2 kiddos, one of whom is at art school, at a boarding arts high school, and the other one who's probably following in their footsteps. So, I mean, it's impacted me. And then I've married this guy. So, I mean, it's impacted my entire life.
It feels amazing that we're all back here together. I can't believe it. It just seemed like it would never happen. We did all these online for a couple of years, which was great because the kids were still able to get involved.
The resilience of the kids, right? Without the music, they wouldn't be that resilient, would they?
And it was so important to them to keep music going in their lives during that pandemic. I know I kept asking Victoria, how are the teachers doing? They're dealing with their own personal lives, and they're just so dedicated to these kids also.
As a composer, I can tell you that providing a music education for all these children is incredibly important to me. So I've been on the Associates Board for ETM-LA for many years now, and it's a real honor and privilege to support the arts and to pass on some of the love of music that has so enriched my life to the next generation too.
Education through music is the perfect partner because they don't believe that music is an afterthought or an after-school program. They actually believe that it must be part of the core curriculum, and that's what sets them apart.
How have music and the arts impacted you?
Well, if I didn't have it, I don't know where I would be expressing all these emotions. So there's definitely that. So I'm grateful to have it in my life. I was actually a volunteer here like 7 years ago. So it's awesome to be back.
I always hear stories of those people that find that one special teacher that like changes their lives, especially in like a music drama setting. And those special teachers are what create some of the best artists of our generation, you know? But like they're so hard and rare to come by. And so I think any way to get involved in music education, it's very near and dear to my heart. So it's very special to be here.
Kids need to learn music in schools. It's good for flow, it's good for mental health, it's good for math skills, it's all kinds of good reasons for that. And kids just miss that. So many kids don't get that. So it's really important, and we both really believe in the power of music and kids.
The reason kids actually show up to go to school is if I'm going to go have my music class, I'll go. If not, who knows? So it gets people to school and keeps them in school.
Music, it involves all the different subjects. When you're studying music, you're studying history, you're studying math, you're studying science, you're learning how to sequence. You're also developing social skills, working with other people, being team members.
Tell me, how has music and the arts impacted you?
It's impacted my entire life. Like, I was fortunate enough to go to a really creative high school and middle school, and they had an amazing music program there. They had an amazing theater program there. I started off by scoring the school plays, and they gave me that opportunity to kind of like start honing my skills that I would later use in college and professional life. So I have always thought that it is incredibly important to give back and there's so many schools in Los Angeles that just like don't have those programs and don't have that access. So it's quite an easy thing to just say like, hey, like let's give back to this. And that's why there's so many composers here, because so many stories are very similar to mine.
I grew up in Rhode Island, and our music program when I was a kid was always there. And then when I graduated and went to music school, they canceled it because of budget cutbacks and stuff. And I was always my career started with an interest in music as a kid, and I can't imagine how it would have gone had I not had education at any kind of proper level as a young kid. And you gotta lay it out there for people. Give them the chance to bite down.
I have been a board member for ETM-LA for the last 8 years now, and it's amazing to see the growth. When I got on the board, there were 20 schools, and now it's upwards of 50 schools. And that alone, to answer your question, is showing the impact of what music does and why there's a need for it.
Thank you for your support and all that you do for this organization. Your impact being there affects so many people.